I'm very, very honored to be here speaking to you. First of all, for make me feel part of this community, there is Green Party, and still talking about something that I love. It's a powerful tool. Is Meatless Monday. So let me introduce myself just a little. There is a lot of Monica, and today I will talk about Monica activism. I became vegan when I was a teenager, and at the beginning because of animals. And as time went by, I realized how beneficial this change of habits now replaced animals for plant protein. It's good for healthy and environment too. So reduce meat consumption and eat plant-based meals is the most effective action, and it is very fortunately yummy. So in 2004, when I was 19 years old, I decided that this will be my full job. I wanted to my earn to be making the world better. So I started being volunteer in Greenpeace, but I understood that how we eat can change the world faster than close the tap, faster than recycle. But I just fall in love with and got closer to Green Party just 10 years later, when for the first time, the Green Party launched a presidential candidate in Brazil, who I met because of the Meatless Monday, the drug Georgia. At the time, I was delighted with the values, the guidelines of the party, and I feel very, very connected. And I wanted to be part of the Green Party. So at the same year, I started work with Roberto Tripoli, who is today, I think, the biggest Green Party names in Brazil, to work with Meatless Monday in his office. So now I'm very involved with the Green Party. I'm the women's secretary and president in São Paulo City. So I apologize in advance if I use we when I refer to Meatless Monday team or Green Party team or Roberto Tripoli team, because as I said, there are several Monicas and I work with all of them. And the other Monica are partners in a vegan food company, including a restaurant, executive director of the Brazilian Vegetarian Society, and mom of a 5-year-old girl. So I'm very, very happy because I think 2 or 3 years ago, I started to work with Will in this movement, and now Meatless Monday Brazil is growing more than ever. Go ahead, Will.
Thanks, Monica. I'm proud to be here with you, and I want to say welcome to everybody that's listening to us here and watching our presentation. I started with environmental issues when I worked at ABN AMRO, that would be at maybe ABN AMRO in Dutch, because it's a Dutch bank. That was the first bank. They have environmental issues. They're thinking about how to preserve recyclable things. And I learned so much with that. So that was my starting with the ecologist. So after that, I was thinking so much and reading and learning about environment. I was refusing plastic bags in the supermarket. I was going to my work by bicycle, and I forgot something. I forgot about the livestock sector. That is the most pollution sector. That's why, after learning that, I start my transition to become vegetarian and then later vegan, because I was thinking, okay, I'm doing my best here, but something is worse for the environment than just refuse some small plastic bags or just going with bicycle. Of course, I didn't stop to do that things, but then I came to this subject. for the environment first, and then later learning so many things about also the animal welfare, how they are treated, and how people are very cruel with them in this industry that we can call like this. And just finding a way to get better for a better environment and a better place to live, I joined the Green Party 10 years ago. And I went to, I was also a former candidate for the councillor, municipal councillor, and also was candidate 2 years ago for the city hall for the Green Party. I didn't have so much success, but the ideas was also spread around. So many people also that joined the group, and this group is growing since the first time I was candidate. And after this, I also went to spend some time in Netherlands, living there for a year, and also in Germany. And I met some people who had a project, a non-profitable project to spread vegan food around. They just made food, whole meal for €3, and this was too cheap. But they just told me, okay, you don't earn nothing with this, but it's a way to make people know that the plant-based food that can be healthy, can be good, can be satisfying, and also gather people. And now I came back to Brazil. I just started this project, and we call New Flavor Institute today. Is an NGO that serves food for a very cheap price. I would say like around $1 or less than €1 for sure. So this is a way to improve people who try the vegan food. They can see that it's a tasty food, healthy one, and I would say sustainable. That's what we call here, and I prefer to say sustainable than vegan, but because is it sustainable? And later joined the Vegetarian Society, working with Monica and the political affairs. And this is making me spreading around more and more this idea and how to mitigate the impacts that we're gonna see here in the next screen about the food industry, especially the livestock industry and the environment. Thank you so much. Let's go to the next screen. Well, Brazil is known by the biggest biodiversity in the world. So among the leaders in food production on the planet, Brazil wants to feed the world, but this has a cost and a high price that we have to pay. It's not only Brazil, we have also some big exporters like Australia, New Zealand, US, and also India. We have a biggest forest, like the rainforest, the biggest one in the world. And we have the Pantanal and the Serrato that we call Cerrado here in Portuguese. That is a different kind of biodiversity, for example, in this area that they are dry, but the roots grow so much inside, underground, more than above the ground. So we have this big diversity that is also compromised with the balance of the environment. Also, the Pantanal and the Amazon forest goes over our board, like to Bolivia and Colombia, Venezuela. But I can talk a little bit about Brazil, that we have facing some deforestation, that we're gonna talk about this in the further in screens, and its impacts by the producing of animal livestock. Next. Well, deforestation in Amazon has the biggest rate in the last 15 years. We always had deforestation in the Amazon since Brazil was discovered by the Portuguese. Their deforestation always happened here, but the last few years, like since the new government from the new president Jair Bolsonaro, we are facing the highest rate in 15 years because he and his environmental ministry really don't care about the environment. Well, in Brazil, we have more than 500 members of the parliament. More than 300 is attached to the livestock sector. So they just want to produce, they want to have money, they just want to to produce more and more, and they have the biggest subsidies. So this is something very important that we have to care, because when you're eating your food, you have to think where it comes from. If it comes from Brazil, if it's this deforestation area, or in other countries too, like especially Indonesia, and they have deforestation of the forest from the orangutan and also other kind of monkeys, and for the palm oil. So we are looking for a sustainable way to feed the world, not in this slaughtering that is happening here in Brazil. The next, please. Well, Serrato disappears almost 4 times faster than Amazon rainforest, because Serrato is a plain, it's a flat place, it's a flat area, so it's good for them to move the cows and the livestock, because there is no mountains, and people prefer this this area because Brazil doesn't have so much confinement. So we are a big country, so why you confine the cattle if you have space in the ground, and especially a flat place, so the cows don't need to go up and down, and their legs won't be strong, so the meat will be softer. That's why they think about. And if you just have some rainforest or the Pantanal that is in this area of Serrato, they just cut down like this. The government today, they just they diminishes, like they cut down the budget for the environmental sector in 1/4, so they don't have time, they don't have money enough to supervise this area. So this is the plan of the government, just because this is the sector who was responsible for his election. And the Serrato is different because, like I told before, the trees, they grow more underground than above the ground. This is what means they bring water to the soil, and also to feed our aquifer. And so this is very important for the balance of the environment in Brazil. Next, please. Oh, this we are talking about animal agriculture. It's not only to have feeding some cows and this planet, deforestation. They also have the greenhouse gas emissions. That is more than all the exhaust combined for transportation. The transportation is around 13%. This is because the quantity of cows we have and the animal livestock sectors is more than we have people. Like a good example is in Brazil, that we have before in 1970, around 60 million cows. If we're talking about only cows, not pigs, not chicken, fish, or other kind of animal for consumption. We have 60 million cows, and we have 90 million in 1970. And nowadays we have 260 million cows against 220 or 230 around million people living. So this is environmental imbalance. We have more cows than people live in Brazil, and we have so much more animals living here than people. So this is the priority of the government, because you want to feed the world. We're going to see later some sheets that show this properly. Okay, next, please. Well, this is the livestock and their byproducts. Account 32,000 millions of tons carbon dioxide per year. And also we have the methane. Look like it's a joke, but it's not. About the cow farting and also the chewing that producing the methane gas that go directly to our ozone layer, making the hole bigger and bigger. This sheet shows the growing of this CO2, and then responsible for 51% of all worldwide greenhouse gas emissions. We can have a decrease if people start to mitigate this in all the ways. But here we're not talking only about the cows and the methane gas. We're talking about the whole sector, like like the transportation, refrigeration of the meat, because meat needs something a huge structure to make them to come to your plate, like crossing the world for some countries, or even crossing the whole country to get to your house. So this is all calculated about this carbon dioxide. Next. Okay, here is the livestock sector worldwide, and they were talking about all the animals. So we have 19.6 billion chickens and 1.4 billion cattle and pigs, and excluding the fish. Also, we have some big fish farms around the world. This also concern on the environment. If you add them all up, weight more than humans, and like I told you, even especially in Brazil, and this red areas is where they are more concentrated. So we see that in South America, especially in Brazil, Uruguay, a piece of Argentina, and the Americas, and also Mexico, some part of Africa, and the New Zealand, there are more animals than people. We also can show this comparison than another sheet. Thank you. Next, please. Well, this is the ozone layer since 2014, and everybody knows, and we don't have to say that it's growing day by day. It's not only because of cattle, but this contributes a lot when you have a huge, big population of cows that producing methane around the world. And specialists and scientists say that if you have to stop these emissions, you would have tangible benefits immediately. Of course, cows will not disappear immediately, because would be a hypothetical idea, but this is diminishing. This is going slow down, addicting. Being part of the Meatless Monday is a way to mitigate these emissions worldwide. Talking about water now, animal agriculture consumes 34 to 76 trillion gallons annually. So this is unspeakable if we do in liters. I can't say trillion, zillion, I don't know. It's too much. It's too much water for the livestock sector, and is responsible for 80 to 9% in US consumptions. This is the same around in Brazil. And they say, okay, but how cows can consume so much water if you need a freezer to stock, to place your food, you need water to feed the cows. Each cow drinks around 150 liters water per day. So I also have here maybe in gallons, just to say around 39 gallons per day, if you are from the country that you use gallons as a metric. So it's too much water. In 2013, we had a water crisis in Brazil. People didn't have water to drink or to take a shower, for nothing. We have extreme event that was not raining for more than 45 days. And the big cities, they were having reduction on the water for use, some even without, but the priority was the live sector, because cows also need clear water. They need clean water to drink. So when you have a government that put in priority money, this can happen, and also can happen again if we don't move forward to a Meatless Monday or on other ways to mitigate this this impact of the agriculture and also the livestock sector. Well, here is this idea: if the world was divided by livestock, that you see how much we have on livestock area, and also how area that's disputed up, that's constructed area, the glaciers, just to compare how we use so much of the arable area we have for livestock. Today is around only 20% arable lands free in the world. So if we only want to consume animal products, this will finish in less than 50 years, or maybe less than 25 years. That's why we have to find a way to slow down and also maybe go back. Every minute, 7 million pounds of excrement are produced by animals raised in food in the world. This is a huge number, 7 million pounds of excrement. This is a graphic about Brazil. Brazil is only 107 million people has sewers treatment and sanitation. So around 50% goes to the ground, goes to the rivers and the ocean. But we're talking about people and not cows. But cows produce 10 times more excrement than a person. So if you have 260 million, is just make a count, plus 10 times more is like we have 10 times more population and 10 times more excrement going to the ground, polluting the soil, water, and the air. So this is the cost of being one of the biggest meat exporters in the world. Next, please. In Brazil, we have something different. We have a president that he's a racist. He don't believe in the environment. He's I don't know how to say this without being rude, but always Brazil is the place that they kill more activists than another country in the world, another place in the world. So 1,100 land activists been killed in Brazil last 20 years. This is comparison with other countries. That the second is Philippines and later Colombia. I've been also threatened by the sector because it's a sector who had the biggest financial from the government and subsidies, $3 billion, like I told, 300 from the members of the parliament belongs to the sector. We're working for this. We don't have any today. Let's have some animal welfare views. Okay, some people are asking for this presentation, and we can allow this later provide this email I'm going to send to you. I also was threatened. Who works in this area is always threatened, especially because I was fighting 4 years ago against the rodeo that puts animals just for fun and put them in danger. And I just had a phone call from one of them. They say, I know where your daughter studies, I know where your wife works, so you keep doing this. So we have to think about, it's worth to die for this. It's worth to die for the environment. Maybe in Brazil not, because people were dying, many of them, and nothing is working. So we have to be aware of that. Next, please. Well, here is starting to a way to mitigate all of this sheets in the slide. When we have this before, we're gonna find out how to mitigate in one day without meat, Meatless Monday, how we say here in Segunda Sem Carne. And then I can invite now Monica to talk about and starting this presentation from the mitigations that one day without meat can make for the world. Monica, are you here?
Thank you. Yeah, I want to close my camera because the internet's not so good. So it's okay. Everybody listening? Yeah.
Yes, we are.
No. Yeah. So let's talk about Meatless Monday. I start work with Meatless Monday in Brazil since 2010. And I'm still impressed when I see the results. Take half animal products at least once a week, save 24 meters square of forest, 8 kilograms of grains, 11 kilos of carbon gas, save 60 liters of fresh water. This just one day. Can you imagine every day? Next, please. So I encourage you, and practicing Meatless Monday helps directly in several goals of the 2030 agenda, include food security, which is the goal 2 and 3, because we stopped producing food for animals, as Will said, and start producing food for people. And a food with less fat, no cholesterol, more fiber, more protective nutrition. Next, please. During these 13 years of Meatless Monday in Brazil, the campaign influenced 500 million meals to be plant-based. And those meals were offered in public schools, popular restaurants for vulnerable people such as homeless, and even in prison. Next, please. Meatless Monday Brazil has 3 big goals. 1, break barriers. Be the first contact with the vegan world. Vegan meals, discover the benefits for himself, for environment, for public health. You know where and how COVID, AIDS, and other diseases started, no? With animal as a food. The second goal is to help people to stop eating animals. Once a person gives 1 step, we support her to increase the reduction until stopping eating animals for good. For those 2 items, work with celebrities, social media, and press are fundamental. The approach has to be the benefits of plant protein. Instead, attack meat, eggs, and dairy. Don't matter if you worry about environment or health, always focus in a positive message to not create more resistance. The third goal, reduce meat in public purchase. Who is the biggest buyer of meat? The government. It buys tons of meat for schools, hospitals, charities, prisons. If we reduce the amount of meat that government buys, we influence directly this machine. And I think this is the goal, is the most powerful tool. And how we do that? How influence the government? Well, we start defining an important political alliance. Next, please. In Brazil, the executive power is responsible for food policy. In other words, who say what people will eat in public services are mayors, governors, and the president, or their ministers and secretaries. So if a city councilor, for example, wants to help, okay, thanks, but not doing laws. People hate when laws say what they need to do or what they not to do. So press even worse. Next, please. Make a law banning eating meat on Mondays is, as we say in Brazil, a shooting food. I don't know in your countries, but in mine and in Brazil, councillors love to submit bills, even if it was just a quotation to the media. But for us, quotation in a bad way is worse than doing nothing. Next, please. For us, the first allied political was the Environment Secretary of São Paulo City, Eduardo Jorge, Green Party member, as I said. He made the city of São Paulo, the biggest city in South Hemisphere, officially support Meatless Monday campaign. The other guy next to me is Alexandre Schneider, who was the Education Secretary, and he was influenced in a positive way for Eduardo Jorge and Roberto Tripoli to put Meatless Monday in public schools in São Paulo City. We are talking about over than 1 million students in São Paulo City in public schools. It's huge. Next, please. Here. In Brazil, the most important politician promoting Meatless Monday is Roberto Tripoli today. He's a city councilor, but he never made a law about meat reduction. He opens doors in public departments, articulating with Secretary of Education, social assistant, and the right picture is in prison administration. So he opens the door, and I and the Meatless Monday team enter organizing the trainings, menus, always in partnership with the Brazilian Vegetarian Society. Next, please. So, Phil?
Hi. Just to say that it is a political action. There's pictures with the former governor of São Paulo state, and also the former minister, and also some councillors, and also head of the education department, and people from City Hall. This is a small message in this middle, just to say that you can put this on your agenda, bring this to your country. Meatless Monday is worldwide campaign that you can start right now, or if you need some help, just write it down, your email. We can support you and find a way to bring Meatless Monday to your place, to your city, to your country. Thanks, Monica. Next. Monica, are you having some, facing some?
Oh, sorry, I was talking. Sorry.
All right.
No, during these years, I realized that with meat reduction in public departments, we have to work quietly and just make it public when everything is okay, when everything is 100% working. There are still many powerful people who haven't understand yet the importance of reducing meat consumption, and they won't measure efforts to stop the movement. So just make it public when everything is 100% working. Next, please. Next, again. Yeah, think and do something big. Focus on an important city, an important department, an important hospital. When a prominent city or institution do something different, the small cities or the small companies used to copy this action. And this is what's happening in Brazil. Once São Paulo city joined Meatless Monday, another cities enjoy it too. For the goals 1 and 2, remember the goals, break barriers and help people to stop eating animals, has just one campaign running with the same logo, same social media, website, spokeswoman, spokesman, to not confuse people, press or spread efforts. Even next, please. Even if more organizations work with it, much better if they work together. So please connect with the activists in your country. Be humble. Call them to complement efforts. In Brazil, the Vegetarian Society runs Meatless Monday. It has the Instagram, website, logotype. Another group and politician at Serrato work with the campaign too. But see the logos, connect with the Vegetarian Society as a partner, not creating another campaign as a veggie day or something like that. But remember, for the goals 1 and 2, please, next. For the third goal, reduce meat in public purchase, the strategy is different. So in that case, don't use the name meatless in public service. Next, please. Usually, people who use this kind of services are poor and use less, give the impression we are taking off something or saving money, and they already have a lot of less. So next, please. Usually, we create a child campaign in each city. For example, we implement a Meatless Monday and Itapevi city, a small city. The idea is the same. We offer training, materials, follow-up, everything, but the name is different. In that case, was Green Monday. It has its own website, logo, so it's a child campaign, and each new city a new, let's say, nickname. In politics, it's every important winning votes, we know, and being the protagonist of something good. So create strategies for this. Be connect with celebrities who are already involved with the campaign. Next, please. For example, when Sir Paul McCartney was in Brazil, he received us, me and Roberto Triplo and the team in his dressing room. At the other time, he made a tweet congratulating São Paulo mayor. So if you be connected with the right activists, it will be a great positive agenda for you, for Green Party in your city. Next, please. Be flexible. If it can be every week, propose once a month. The important is the start. Will, do you want to say about the Jacareí, about how the campaign was growing?
Oh, sure.
Because it was that, yeah. You know,
yeah.
the best word is every week. But if you can't every week, we can start once a month.
Yes, in the place I live, I was a former governmental head of issues, and we had the Meatless Monday starting in 2018 and was only once a month. But the thing is that it was so good that people really like it. The students like it, the parents also like it, and this got some very good advertising of what is good to eat in the public school, that just 1 year later just start twice a month. And then this is not only good for the environment or your health, it's also good for the financial of the city, because plant-based food is so much cheaper than animal products. And then what we did with that money that we have extra from the Meatless Monday, we just invest in the breakfast for the kids. So this is something sensitive, like Monica told, that's not use Meatless Monday when you are in the public sector, because this is against the public view. They don't like that you are taking out the food from the meat from their plate. So use different name, but also do not tell about this this increase, or you're going to have you have some extra money when you have your Meatless Monday in the school, but you can just invest in the other part, like in the breakfast, or have better or other kind of products that would be more expensive, like special grains, like cashews and other things you can buy. It's a huge difference when you start Meatless Monday in the city. Thanks, Monica.
Yeah. Next, please. So our golden rule, you know, don't let's replace animal protein to another animal protein. So should be animal protein by plant protein. Because once you have placed cheese and eggs, it will be very, very difficult to replace it to beans. Next, please. And frankly, we know that for animals, this is a terrible choice. In Brazil, the Green Party has been a reference in bringing this powerful tool to public policy. Will and I are available to help you guys to implement Meatless Monday, to talking about it. After all, we don't have time anymore. If not now, when will it be? So thank you very much.
Here's our contacts and the QR code. And I would like to say thank you for everyone. We have some questions in the chat box, but they can answer later, people. And also the presentation I can send by email, or a link just you can download if people are interested. And if you have any doubts about the campaign, just feel free to contact us anytime you want. Hope to see everybody next year in Korea for the Global Greens. Monica, any last words?
Yeah, somebody somebody said about the soy.
Yeah.
Oh, about soybean. So I don't know. Can you say about it, or we have
Yeah,
to
we
finish?
can.
Sorry.
No, we can answer. We still have a plenty of time. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
The soybean is not the problem. Now was as Will said, the problem is the monoculture to plant food animals, not for people. You know, we said the soybean is not to make tofu, is to feed animals.
Yes, and also the soybeans production today is for humans is around 10%, the whole production they have. So that's it's not our part of the environment. And also the people who consume soybeans, they prefer non GMO. So this is difficult to find. It's not the same soybeans production for food for animals, for feeding animals. It's a different one. So people are aware about this also non-GMO food. And this is a different technique to plant. So it's not the part of this biggest deforestation that they just cut down everything to plant soy and just to feed the cows that also they were not born to eat soybeans. They are born to eat grass and other kind of grain and leaves. So it also have some problems from the in their stomach.
Yeah.
And also, yeah, this is starting a cycle that is so much bigger than this. Huh? And we're going to other subject, but this is about the cow's health.
Yeah. So yeah, soybean is one of the protein source. You know, we have a bunch of that. So if you be vegan or vegetarian, you don't need to eat soy. It's just one of a lot of options.
Yes, I think there's no more questions, then, Monica. No.
So yeah, if there is no question, I'd like to invite all of you to at least try Meatless Monday. You know, we have to be the example. We have to, as Will said about himself, okay, recycling, ride bike, and everything, but we have to talk about how we eat, how and what we eat. Né? So please, at least join Meatless Monday, and please go vegan as much as you can.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Monica. Yeah, it's exactly like this. And I'm not asking to everybody to be vegan, but just reducing. It's just something like this. This is the first step, no, Monica? Meatless Monday can be the first step for many people, and it does. I met so many people who started with Meatless Monday and then became vegan. So I'm thanking for everybody. Thanks for the organization. Thanks for people who's watching here. Okay. Oh, there's a virtual global cafe. There's just got here in the chat box, and we can meet there, talk more, maybe chat. Okay. See you. Bye-bye. Bye, Monica.